Right, all right, we are live for the second time with the Pro Football Spot Seahawks chat with myself and Ken Kazarowski. How you doing, Ken?
I'm doing good, Stuart. How about you?
Not too bad. Looking forward to it all kicking off tomorrow with the free agency, although it already has.
Oh, yeah.
In some way. Right, first off, let's start with the news that broke on Friday night, or the news most of us were waiting for with Marshawn Lynch. What was your initial reaction, and what did you make of how they've structured it over the next couple of years?
I was relieved. I mean, it was kind of going to be a stretch, imagining someone else be at the running back position for years to come. And Beast Mode's been tearing it up since he got here in Seattle. And you want that kind of player on your team, no matter what his personality is in press conferences and such. He gets the job done, and he deserved to be paid. And it all came out Seattle's way, and I love it.
Yeah, well, it was something that they seemed to go after quite aggressively, especially after the Super Bowl with Schneider went on the offensive, didn't he, in local radio, then at the Combine as well. And if Marshawn Lynch is going to turn up anywhere after being quiet for a month, it's going to be Turkey, isn't it? So.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Like I wrote, he's the heartbeat of the offense. Everything relies on him, and for us, beneficial as having Turbin and Michael around were last year. There's no Marshawn Lynch coming in the draft. There's no Marshawn Lynch on the team, so
right,
pay them all the money they want, and they did. But do you still see a position that they could address in the draft, or?
I think later, mid to later rounds, you don't really need a Melvin Gordon or Todd Gurley anymore. They're still really good running backs, and if they are available at 31, I'm sure Schneider's going to take, a couple seconds and think about it. But I mean, I like guys like Carlos Williams of Florida State, who should be around by the 5th round. The same caliber as Robert Turbin and Christian Michael will be, needs a development. But now with Lynch's new extension, you got a couple more years to work with.
Yeah, there's not many better players to learn under either, is there, in the Marshawn Lynch? So if you bring in that project winning back in the 5th or 6th round, so Mike Davis is someone I'd quite like to see in Seattle come the end of April.
Okay.
Yeah. Going towards free agency, there's one name that keeps, which is more alluring than most others, Julius Thomas. Although it's picking up steam that he's going to be a Jacksonville Jaguar, he's the sort of player that you'd think that would be ideal in Seattle, really, wouldn't you?
Yeah, especially with Zach Miller gone. I mean, he's one of the premier tight ends in free agency. Jordan Cameron's the other one. He's very injury prone. Julius Thomas looked pretty good, being a receiver for Peyton Manning. You wonder about the disparity going to someone who's not of Peyton Manning status. You don't really see what he's going to be able to produce. But yeah, I mean, it'd be a great pickup for Jacksonville. I mean, Blake Bortles needs all the help he can get. But certainly with Zach Miller gone now, Seahawks do need a tight end.
Yeah, and it's not that the fact that they need a tight end, because obviously Luke Wilson's still around. Cooper Halfett showed some flashes, but it's the red zone target they didn't have when Sidney Rice had to retire. And Julius Thomas is probably one of 3 tight ends maybe in the league who could present something that Seattle don't have at the position already. And the money he would require is not too astronomical. It's not. I mean, Jeremy Maclin got $11 million a year from Kansas, which is insane, really. But it is. If you go to Jacksonville, like you said, they've gone in for the tackle today, so they are obviously trying to help out Bortles, because you don't pick a quarterback number 3 and then don't help him out, which is what they're looking to try and do, it looks like. So what did you make of Zach Miller move?
I mean, it was kind of a surprise when it initially broke. I thought we'd have him sticking around a little bit longer, and maybe a late cut in free agency in case the market looked good for a new pickup, because he is due, a sizable amount of money. A lot of people have been talking about how he hid some of the offensive line's weaknesses by being such a good blocking tight end, and I can definitely see the point in that. But the money he's due with Luke Wilson stepping up and a couple tight ends who could come cheaper, I think it's a reasonable move.
Do you think it's a bit of a surprise move if they don't get Julius Thomas or Jordan Cameron with the tight end class that's in the draft? Because it's not exactly headline, is it? It's pretty weak.
Yeah, other than a couple of names who might stand out, yeah, the tight end class isn't really deep. If we don't get someone in free agency, it'll kind of look like a glaring weakness going into minicamp and OTAs. But you know what? You can never underestimate John Schneider. I'm sure they're putting a lot of faith in Luke Wilson now. And who knows? There could be some up-and-comer that we are overlooking in free agency over the next couple of weeks that the Seahawks are going to snag out of nowhere. So you never can tell. If they don't get anyone to replace Miller right away, I'll still be thinking it's a bit of a weakness going in. But I think the Seahawks they'll whip something up.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there's always a chance for someone like Zach Miller that he could come back. Like him and Kevin Williams are players you could expect who will see what's out there and come back with a pretty bare minimum, wouldn't they? Because especially in Miller's case, he seems to be someone who's quite well regarded and respected in the locker room. He's a good person to have around in what will be a probably even younger locker room next year as well. So moving on for broader free agency. Any other targets you'd like Seattle to take a look at? Obviously, Andre Johnson was cut free today, so he's out there. So are you still not for that idea, or him being released and coming at a lesser cost? Is that something you'd be more in tune for?
There we go. Momentary lapse in internet connection.
Okay, I'll repeat what I said then. I'll just ask a more Seattle-specific free agency targets. Obviously, Andre Johnson was released today. Is that someone that is that someone you'd want to approach now? He's coming out of the contract, or are you still not for that idea?
Andre Johnson, you said?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love it if Johnson came. Great interview.
Nope.